What's up, motherfuckers? Let's get spooky. Spooky. Let's talk about some fun stuff. Amidst all the heavy boo-hooing bullshit that is no doubt going to be on this channel. Um, let's talk about demons, aliens, ghosts, and psychics. Let's talk about that today. Um, Specifically, my own personal encounters and experiences and thoughts on these things. Um, Start off with let's really probe the matter and horrible pun. I hate puns. Uh, let's talk about aliens, A's, right? Um, I myself have luckily never been abducted and probed. Um, at least not that I remember. Um, Lucky me. But no, I did have an experience with um, UFOs when I was a wee bastard. No, I wasn't too. I mean, I guess I was 8 or 9 actually. But it was myself, my drunken, wicked witch of a stepmother, Linda, and her, in retrospect, likely secret dyke mistress, fat bitch named Tammy, and her friend that she spent a lot of time with. And oh, they were horrible, horrible. See you next Tuesdays, but that's another tale for another time. Anyway, we were driving with them. I was driving. We were out somewhere, and this was in Georgia, um, kind of out in the sticks by kind of in between Austell and Dahlonega, and just out of the blue, man, we just I forgot if it was Linda or Tammy says something along the lines of "Holy shit, what's that up in the sky?" And look up there, and lo and behold, there's these 6 red lights, and they just start doing, we thought they might have been satellites or something at first, but they started doing these just crazy patterns, man. They were in formation, then they weren't, and then they were doing all these weird, just seemingly at times spastic and chaotic, and other times more calculated movements. And we stopped the car, and it was nobody else on this drove by us while any of this was happening, and this must have went on for 2 or 3 minutes, and we were just, in shock, man. Or collective silent shock. And next thing we know, the lights were gone. It's not like they sputtered away or flew away. They just weren't fucking there anymore, as far as we could see. And perhaps even weirder than the incident itself was the fact that we didn't tell anyone, and I myself didn't tell anyone for about 10 or 15 years. And that's not the crazy part. The weird part is that it wasn't like we didn't tell anyone because, oh, they won't believe us, or, oh, it's dangerous knowledge, or any stupid bullshit like that. I just, and I assume it's the same for those two. I didn't think about it for years, and I didn't think to tell anyone. It's like as soon as it happened, it was memory hold. You know what I mean? Like it was just wasn't there anymore. About 10, 15 years later, it came back, and it didn't come back like in a blur. Just the whole memory came back, and it wasn't traumatic. It wasn't anything like that. I mean, yeah, I was scared. I was creeped out, but I was fascinated even then, with the phenomenon, and And nothing weird has ever happened since. As far I've told a bunch of people about it, you know. And no, the Men in Black haven't come to see me. No letter agencies or anything else like that. So I mean, I haven't been visited by the Greys or the reptilians or anything, and just kind of weird, what I saw, and I did see it. I was 7. I wasn't dreaming, or excuse, I was 8 or 9, and I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't hallucinating. I was too young to. I certainly wasn't high or drunk or anything, and it couldn't have been planes. It couldn't have been satellites. I'm not saying for sure it was aliens. UFOs often are probably just military craft that they don't want public knowledge, at least at the time. So it very well could have been, UFOs, sans aliens, but who knows? I did see it, and it did like disappear from my mind for a number of years, which I think is as peculiar as the site itself. Something about that is it's kind of unsettling. But yeah, man. Aliens, Um, I don't know. I used to have more of a basic bitch theory answer, oh, there's so many planets and there's so much in outer space. There's bound to be other life out there. And I don't deny that as a possibility. But for me anymore, and a lot of other people, to bring up aliens, extraterrestrials, inevitably leads into the conversation of outer space. And this is really where, uh, that gonna sound like schizo posting on the X board or something, but man, I'm really playing my cards with this one. I'm not 100% convinced outer space is real, or at least in the way that we've been told it's real. Yeah, I know. Just lost a lot of you there. Um, I don't know. What does that mean? Flat Earth? We live in a dome. It's a holographic projection. It is outer space, but it's not nearly as big as they say it is, or it's much bigger than they say it is, or it's something we can't even perceive. And yeah, we're in a quarantine, prison, planet, realm, dimension. Planets aren't what they say they are. Um, it could be some, I mean, it raises the alien question anymore raises so many other perhaps bigger questions. I mean, I could revert back just to I'm dry skinned by the way, so I'm like scratching my arms. I just got out of the shower, which I know is an image you definitely want in your mind, and always makes my arms itch. Anyway, TMI. But I guess I could revert back to the basic bitch of this answer of if outer space is real and if it is what our masters and rulers have told us it is, and NASA has told us it is, then yeah, I would revert back to my answer of course there would have to be other life forms out there. It is in the vastness of space, and yeah, again, and I admit this is one conspiracy, the outer space conspiracy, that I could be wrong on for sure. There's a number of conspiracies that I give some level of credibility to or another. But never with 100% certainty. And the outer space one is certainly one of those that I'm not 100% sold on either way. But I wouldn't be shocked if outer space isn't real slash and or isn't what we're led to believe. So thus aliens might not be what we're led to believe. Maybe there aren't aliens coming in on UFO from outer space. Maybe that's all bullshit. that we as a culture have just conjured up out of misunderstanding, or it's been a psyop. It's been pure propaganda created for this reason or that reason. You know, was it Project Blue Book, Blue Beam, Blue Steel, something like that? The acclimating us either for very real aliens or acclimating us for a false alien invasion for obvious reasons. It's the idea that they don't come from outer space, they come from the ocean, or they come from the hollow earth, or all the above, or they're in Antarctica, or I I think, or that of course there's the very popular belief that aliens are in fact demons. Now, which kind of bleeds over to the demon conversation. Most of my life, I did not believe in demons. I thought it was hogwash. I thought it was purely mental. They were symbolic metaphors. And I still think those things are possible. I think there are times where someone's demons are just mental. And that's not to discount it by saying just, it's just mental. That can be huge, hugely impactful, um, obviously in a negative way. So I do think it is a mental thing, but I think that exists too. I think mental illness exists, obviously. I think there are, which I guess leads to the question of schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is people being crazy, to put it in a not so PC way. Others say, no, no, people with schizophrenia are actually enlightened. They're breaking through the veil. It's just they can't handle it because they don't have. Usually, it happens accidentally, and at times that are startling, and it does drive people crazy. But it's not just a mental illness; it's actually an ability that maybe they can't control. They don't have a map or a torch, or they don't have a hold on it, so it does drive them kind of loopy. I think both are possible. I think there are people that are just batshit insane, and it's unfortunate and sad. But I do think there are people that are potentially tapped into something beyond beyond the beyond even. Um, and often there's those in between that are tapped into something, but it's by accident and they can't control it, and it ends up driving them mad. Um, but schizophrenics often see demons, and um, and I discounted it for many years because I assumed it was just pure insanity, and used for religious propaganda and like fairy tales, but just based on my own experiences and my own thoughts on the matters, my own I I do believe in demons. I think they are very real entities now, and I'm gonna round back to the alien thing too. Um, but I think there could be aliens if space is real and what we're told. Then they could come from outer space. There could be, and aliens in separate beings from demons. They could come from up there. They could come from down there. They could come from in here. They could come from the ocean. They're different creatures or things, humanoids, insectoids, some kind of oid we don't even know about. Hopefully not hemorrhoid. Um, and they come from different facets of what we call the earth and beyond, and they're not demons, they're separate from demons. But I do think oftentimes demons take the guise of what we perceive to be aliens, kind of like they LARP as aliens for their own twisted, evil purposes. Um, and then you get into a whole separate thing of interdimensional beings, interdimensional entities, which I think is a separate category still. It sounds convoluted, and it probably is. Life is weird. These are all just theories. I could be totally wrong. I could just be batshit Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs myself. I could just be loony. It could be totally Looney Tunes. I could be out to lunch. Um, a lot of lunch. A lot of lunches. God, I hate the way my crown looks. I know. It's probably in the comment section, dude. What's up with your fucking tooth? It's a crown. And it was put in. They botched it from the jump. I should have had it redone or sued or some shit. They fucked it up when I had the crown put in, and or they replaced my front teeth with a crown. And just over the years, even though I try to take care of my teeth, it's like it's falling out and twisting, and it looks like I got this weird like one buck tooth in the middle of my fucking. I get it. It bothers me as much as it bothers you to look at. Okay, but anyway, um self-deprecating stuff is so fucking annoying. Um, but when you bring interdimensional entities, beings, whatever into the mix, I think that's separate still. There might be interdimensional things that we would consider aliens, we would consider just unknown entities, we would consider demonic based on their malevolence and what they do. I think the interdimensional stuff always interests me the most because it's at once most mysterious and foreign, but potentially closest to us, maybe, because, they could be right here, right now, and we don't even sense them. Maybe they don't sense us, or maybe they do. Um, I don't know. But I think there are interdimensional things that range from benevolent to malevolent to everything in between and beyond. That's when you run into things like, the Mothman and things along that nature. And there are certainly interdimensional things that we would probably perceive and mistake to be your classic alien. And I'm only thinking of the Greys, but I know there's a whole fuck ton of alien, uh, supposedly alien species and variety. And for some reason, only the Greys are coming to mind right now. But no, I do think there are what we would consider aliens. I do think there are what we would consider demons, and I do think there are what we would consider interdimensional things. And sometimes they maybe interact. They, I don't know how, but demons are certainly, by and large, purely malevolent. They are not nice things. Now that raises questions, of course, of when you say demons, you mean Satan, you know, or this culture's version of Satan, this culture's version of Satan, this part of the world, how they view Satan and hell, and their version of demons. Is it the same thing, or are these different things altogether? Um, and it's interesting to think about. Are they when you get into stuff like the Goetia and it's the Enochian uh, angels and all these other things that are almost like a separate category altogether, and you get into things like Egyptian mythology and Set, and so I mean, it's I don't know quite what demons are, and I speculate that there's many different types of them. I don't know. I don't necessarily believe in the Abrahamic, the Satan, no, the Satan, and a pitchfork down, toiling in hell, punishing sinners on behalf of slash in defiance of God. That makes sense, right? I know it's weird. I say all this, like, oh, you believe all this other outlandish shit, but oh, Satan and his demons, that's too much for you. Yeah, I get it. It's a contradiction. It's just my thoughts on the matter, just my feelers on the matter. But Jesus Christ, I've got I'd say 5 head, but I got a 6 head, man. Look at that. Jesus. Maybe I'm a fucking alien, you know? Uh, I don't know, maybe Darwin's right. Yeah, maybe I'm proof of kind of mongoloid fucking Neanderthal. I mean, look at that shit. And it's probably all you've been looking at, right? But um, no, I've had encounters with what I believe to be what we would classically define as demons, and it's just such you immediately sense and understand just the worst, most evil, negative, dark, ugly. These things, and here's my opinion about evil, true evil. I think it goes way further than a lot of religious and even spiritual classifications for what they would consider demons or, again, their equivalent of Satan or some kind of Satan-like figure. Because whenever you talk about those things, like, they always have a hierarchy, sure, but they also have sometimes families. Like this demon could be the father of this demon and the mother of this demon, and then they care for their own. And true evil has nothing to do with some kind of war against a god or a hierarchy, pecking order, a family, even amongst their own. To me, true evil is much more chaotic than that. I think it's still negative. It's still obviously bad, um, but it's a chaotic that true. Oh, chaos reigns, but no, true chaos, and just chaos and I'm not saying all everything culturally considered chaotic. There's some things chaotic in art and this and that, whatever it is. It can be cool, it can be fun, it can be funny. Um, so I'm not dissing all things chaos, but I'm saying true evil is chaos in its ugliest sense. Um, True evil doesn't care about family or pecking orders, or true evil just means to destroy for the sake of chaos and for the sake of destruction. Um, and that's what I felt when I've encountered these demons. There was one night in 2018, I was drunk out of my fucking gourd. Um, Go figure, right? And just, I'm told because there was someone, my roommate, hung out with me all night, which is weird because usually my alcoholism would be me in a dark room by myself, but for some reason I was okay with my roommate being there the whole night. Um, I don't remember a lot of this except for the end, which is where this is leading to. But he said that via the books I had and just the things I remembered and the things that I looked up online that night, that I went through about 10 different rituals and evocations and invocations and summonings, and it was all negative. It was all, trying to conjure up the most spiteful, and there was your typical ones like, again, your Goetia, your Enochian, your different forms of Satanism. There was Japanese stuff. There was, some pagan stuff. There was this, that, and there was a lot more um, obscure ones that I'm not going to mention. And it's not what you think it is, because I would just say that. And I'm not talking about Abrahamic stuff or even most known mythologies or lores, but it's certainly a spiritual thing, not religious. But it's some lesser known ones that just for a lot of reasons I would rather not mention. Probably wouldn't even get me kicked off Facebook. It's just for other reasons. maybe I'll talk about in another video. I'd rather not mention right now. Anyway, I spent this whole night just drunkenly, recklessly, spitefully conjuring up as much horrible shit. Probably even did some totally cringe day one babies first occultism stuff like Ouija boards with. I mean, it was just a shit show. It was just I don't know what my problem was. It was one of those blackout rages that unfortunately lasted for hours. Some other some other element might have been involved. Might have been hitting the slopes, skiing pretty hard that night. Not proud of it. Um, a lot of factor, a lot of energy drinks. Anyway, but my roommate said some pretty weird shit went down, and he had to leave. Thanks, leaving me there in a basement of sin and iniquity and a den of bullshit. But I remember waking up still drunk as a skunk, but coming to out of the blackout and feeling wasn't dreaming, wasn't hallucinating, wasn't having a freak out anymore. I was conscious, drunk, but I've been drunk thousands of fucking times and never. This was real. Okay, there was something. There was a demon literally sitting on me. I couldn't look at him except out of the corner of my eye, and what I saw was, I don't want to sound like Lovecraft, like, take 10 minutes not describing something, but describing it, unfathomably, unmentionably terrible. You can't even, the human mind can't. I love Lovecraft. I'm not taking the piss out of him. I love him. He's probably my favorite horror writer of all time. But he would go on these tangents, like refusing to describe something, yet spending 10 pages not describing it. I love that. But that's what this was, though. It was, but I sensed it immediately. It was pure malevolence. It was hatred, bitterness, anger, hate, disgust. Um, just an agent of everything wrong with anything. And prior to this, I had been dabbling, prior to this night, this freak out, for the first time in a long time, and perhaps ever, as far as really being serious about it, I was dabbling more in positive. I won't go in depth about it because whatever, but more into positive things, not Christianity or New Age crystals or anything, but it's more positive, spiritual outlooks and paths. And I was really delving into it, and the demon knelt down right in my ear and said, "Kill the child that seeks light. Kill the child that seeks light." And I understood immediately what it was saying. It was saying, "No, motherfucker, we own you, we eat you alive, we're in you, around you. Uh, you think you're gonna find light? Ha!" Well, I guess for a lot of people, if they'd experienced this, they would have jumped right to Jeebus or, Christianity or some. It would have been proof that the Satan is real, and it proved to me the demons were real. But this was so far beyond what we perceive to be Satan and the battle with God, and this was dark. It was darker. It was blacker than that. And it was the just light and dark, and this thing was dead set on me not finding the light. And there were other experiences where I would just be laying in bed and a shadow would kind of come over me, and you could see it. Like it wasn't so tangible that it was like a black figure or cape or sheet or something, but you could still see it and sense it, and it was just all encompassing and suffocating. That's happened a couple of times. Some other incidents that I don't know. That, um, I think probably were demonic, but it could have been just various supernatural um, ghosts. Kind of poltergeist, because I think my understanding is that poltergeist is more just kind of a strong, lingering energy. So it's like a record repeating itself. It's not necessarily a sort of sentience or even supernatural consciousness or demonic consciousness. It's more just like a light show that repeats itself. But no, there was another incident. It was in the deep south, and my roommate. I was in the living room. My roommate was in his room, but his door might have been cracked or whatever. But we could often communicate with each other fairly easily. And anyway, me, fat Autist calls out, "Hey, roommate." Okay. Roommate, real roommate says, "Yeah, fat Autist. What do you want?" Take a little bit. And I say, "Roommate, I didn't say that, but I heard it. He heard it. It was clearly coming from my room, which wasn't too far away, and it sounded 100% like me. He was not drunk. I was not drunk. Neither one of us were on dope, on the dope. Um, wasn't hallucination. Wasn't like, oh, a movie was playing or someone outside was playing a trick or it was a recording. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Something using my voice called out to him. He heard it. I heard it clear as day. Another time at that house, I was in the living room again, working on, we had a computer out there, and his punching bag just started going fucking ape shit. I mean, like someone was punching it. And I know what you're gonna say, like, oh, well, it's probably a vehicle driving by which causes vibrations. I know what that looks like. I know what that sounds like. Um, or when someone walks the corner around a corner and the wind gust moves it slightly, but there was no one else there. No car had driven by because I always hear and see that. And even if that were the case, it wouldn't have moved the punching bag this violently. And once again, I was not asleep, and I wasn't on drugs, and I wasn't drunk when this happened, but it did happen. Um, yeah, kooky. Um, but yeah, man, demons. I think they're real. I think aliens potentially could be real. It could be from a number of locations. Space. We're gonna save the full space France exploration theory. That deserves its own video, I think. Uh, uh, ghosts, separate from aliens, separate from demons. Do you think dead spirit? I don't know. I've never felt it. I've never seen it myself. I know a lot of people that have seen like supposed apparitions of the dead. Sometimes people they knew, sometimes people that had lived at that house prior, um, et cetera, et cetera. I myself never experienced what I believe to be a ghost, an apparition, something of a neutral or even benevolent, um, floating kind of your classic. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying I've never encountered it like I have what I believe to be have been a demon and what I believe to be UFOs. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Some might say what I experienced with the voice calling out could have been a ghost, but no, usually they don't imitate. They're not known to imitate your voice and perfectly at that. Typically, that's been attributed to demonic behaviors. Um, Lastly, psychic phenomenon. Yeah. 99% of people that claim to be psychic are full of shit. They're reading the room. They're asking more questions than you think. They're um, gouging you, gauging you, reading you, profiling you, having you give them all the info they need to make really well-educated guesses, fill in the blank stuff that you then they lead you along. I think there is a racket, there is a scam, and that's most what would people that call themselves psychics, or a lot of people that call themselves psychics. I think they are. They're just full of shit. They're lying to themselves. It's phenomenal. It can be readily explained. I try to find the most mundane, banal explanation for any of this stuff, even my own. Um, Not because I'm a skeptical asshole who doesn't believe, but because I look at it like I have the methodology of a Scully because I'm Mulder at heart. I believe it to be real. I believe the truth is out there, but there is so much bullshit. People lying to themselves, scams, misdirection. Um, you know, that you have to weed out the bullshit. So you have to come to every claim with some healthy skepticism, because 9 out of 10 times, 99 out of 100 times, eh, these things they turn out to be bullshit. People seeking fame. It's a joke. It's a hoax. That conspiracy wise, it's your government lying to you, um, or even just yokels trying to get attention, trying to make some scratch, so yeah, I do, I don't take everything. I don't believe everything at face value. I go into it with a very healthy amount of skepticism, so that hopefully, once you've ran it through the skepticism filter, what remains is something you can't explain away with conventional, you know, theories or means that it's something beyond. And yeah, psychic. I do believe in psychic phenomena, though, and I do think there are people that are psychic on this planet. Um, Again, which raises bigger questions because I think a lot of psychics either get like rounded up or found out by letter agencies. They get utilized, and maybe it's like almost like a psychic union or something. Like they've formed their own group for protection, and maybe they are being exploited by, again, what we'll call the machine or them. That's my simplified term for the controllers of this world. Which we'll do a full video about that. Uh, my theories, plural, and plenty of other people's theories. But I do think that, again, we'll call it the machine, has they understand psychic phenomena better than most. Some of them are psychic. Um, but I think even outside of that, there's a rogue element of just psychics probably that come together and try to watch each other's backs and protect one another, maybe even from the machine, you know. But I think the said psychic ability isn't the same for everyone. I think there's most people aren't psychic and don't contain a trace of psychic ability. And why are the ones that have psychic ability, why do they have it? Who knows? Maybe it's in the family, maybe it's a rare freak occurrence. I don't pretend to know where it comes from or why. And I do think it's a spectrum of ability. I think some can control it, some can't. Some it's like every bit as real and strong as you see in most movies, and some it's maybe so rare they only have one trivial psychic experience in their entire life, and that's it. Um, and once again, everything in between. It's like one of my catchphrases. I say it so often. Um, Personally speaking, and this is where I'm sure a lot of you are going to call bullshit. I My entire life, I've had psychic dreams. Now, the dreams always felt there's different types of dreams. And what are dreams? What are sleep? That again, it's a whole nother subject for a whole nother video. But I've had psychic dreams that have they come true. That's how I know they're psychic. And it's not deja vu. I know what that is. Deja vu, of course, as you know, it's like, oh, where have I seen or felt or sensed or you're experiencing something, you're seeing something that you've seen or experienced before, but you don't know where. That's deja vu, and that's a whole other can of eerie kookiness. Um, I used to have that a lot more. I don't have deja vu so much anymore, but I've always had psychic dreams, and that's different in the sense that, man, I've seen this before, I've experienced this before, but you know where from a dream. Could have been a dream you had the day prior. Could have been a dream you had 7 years prior. Um, and it's always something small. It's always something trivial like, oh, seeing this color of paint on this wall, standing in this particular way, having a conversation with this particular person, this particular tree in this particular neighborhood with the wind blowing a particular way. I know what you're going to say. It's what everyone always says. They always say the same thing and act like I haven't considered it myself. Well, it's probably not trivial, man. It's probably, you just got to look deeper, man, into that I have. Every time it happens, I do it. I explore both with all my senses, internally and externally, okay, and leading up to it and post it and I analyze it. And I've never found it to, from what I can tell, from what I can ascertain, to be anything huge, it's places typically, and senses of sound and sight and smell and fleeting. And usually, I mean, sometimes it's scary because sometimes it's like about a minute long. Sometimes it's about 2 seconds. But I can always trace it back to the particular. I'm not pulling it out of my ass. I'm not, oh, brain malfunction. You think you've experienced this before, but you really haven't. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen too, but no, I can recall a lot of my dreams, maybe more than a lot of people. And like I said, I, like everyone else, has different types of dreams with different feels, and my psychic dreams have always had their own particular feel. They're not always the most lucid, physically accurate dreams. I've had dreams, I have different dreams that are far, far, far more lifelike and lucid, like 100%. Those are the ones that freak me out the most because it's as lifelike as me talking to you right now. And then there's the hyper reality that seems more real than real, right? Again, many different types of dreams, and certainly many different types of nightmares. We'll have a whole video about that. Um, but I've had psychic dreams, so I know psychic abilities. That's just one segment of psychic abilities, one type, one level of the psychic spectrum. So I'm certainly open. That is, I mean, could people communicate telepathically, um, read minds, predict the future. Sure, probably to some degree. Yeah, probably. But most, especially ones that are selling it, full of shit. Um, but yeah, I think that's about all we'll do for today. We might broach this subject again, go more in depth with more. I could say so much more about aliens, demons. Not really too much more about ghosts. Although I love supernatural fiction and even supposed nonfiction. Um, if you believe in ghosts, spirits, apparitions, along those lines, um, I'm always willing to research that and open it as a possibility. But yeah, certainly more interdimensional things, demons, aliens, and yeah, psychic things are more my cup of tea. Though it's all pretty obviously connected in its own way. But that'll do for now. Remember, the owls are not what they seem. Later.